God desires to engage in relationship with you so that you can discover the things that he has to offer you. So insufficiency will cause disconnection, dissension, and distraction in life. So what do we do to combat this? What do we do to go against this and overcome in this insufficiency? Engage to discover. Engage to discover. Now, this phrase has something to it in the form of relationship. God desires to engage in relationship with you so that you can discover the things that he has to offer you. He so wants to engage in relationship with you that he comes in and he covers the insufficiency that you feel in your life. He so desires to engage with you to restore you from the places that you've allowed yourself to go into, that you've settled down in life and you have determined that this is my lot in life. God so loves you that he wants to engage with you to discover the more that he has for you in your relationship with Jesus. So are we going to be that turtle that retreats into the shell, or are we going to be willing to reach out and trust God that what he's offering is so good to us and that he's so merciful and so gracious that he's willing to give it to us when we need it? So engage to discover. This is how it looked like for this woman. She's come to the point where Jesus has talked about this water. Now, you'll notice what she said before. She said this. She said, the woman said to him in verse 15, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't be thirsty." She doesn't want to be thirsty. And she says, "and not to have to come back here and draw water." So she's still kind of thinking of this as a physical thing. Like, if you give me this water that's never ending, it's always flowing, that I won't have to come back and draw this water again. Jesus is obviously talking about something spiritual here in what he's offering. And she hasn't quite got it yet, but she did at the end. So much so that she ran and told the whole town, and that required Jesus to spend 2 more days there because people were hungry for him. But Jesus says this to her after she said, "Give me the living water." Where do we get this? Jesus said to her in verse 16, "Go call your husband and come here." And the woman answered him, "And I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying, 'I have no husband,' for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not your husband. And what you have said is true." I don't know about you reading this account before, but I've always read it from the lens of this woman has committed a lot of sin. Like, it's her fault that she's by herself. She's been married 5 times, means she's got divorced 5 times. She's living in sin now because she's living with somebody she's not married to. Like, this is kind of on her. But what I had to realize in learning and diving in more into this is the Jewish law at that time. The woman was not permitted to divorce the man. It was only the man who could divorce the woman. So this woman from Samaria did not divorce 5 husbands. 5 husbands divorced her. And the woman is with a man right now who will not marry her. She's off by herself, rejected from society, rejected by every relationship that she's ever had. You want to talk about some insufficiency? And Jesus wants to go there with her. And so he responds, "Go get your husband." Oh, this starts this conversation process. God often wants to move in ways that we don't realize that he's going to move in. Like, if we ask for more patience, oftentimes he creates situations that require patience. If we're asking for wisdom, he'll often bring us some challenges in life so we can rely and get his wisdom to move through them. You could be like, "You know what, God, I need to be healed physically. I need to be healed physically." And the response that Jesus gives the woman here would be something like that today, of like, "Okay, let me see your pantry." You want to get healed physically. Let me see what you're putting in your body. And not that God doesn't want to heal and can heal, but sometimes he's like, what's going on in your life? What is causing the problem here? This is like saying, I want more intimacy in my marriage. I want healing in my marriage. And Jesus comes, okay, let me see your browsing history. Because Jesus wants to go there. Jesus doesn't want to just do the outside cleansing. He wants to go full, deep in everything. And are we willing, when Jesus says the thing that we're like, oh, whoa, let's change the subject here. Let's talk about something else. Are we willing to engage to discover what he has to offer us? Because if we are willing to do that, he is willing to move to restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish every single one of us. How do you engage with Jesus? It's very simple. 3 things. Lean in with Jesus, ask questions, and take what he offers. Lean in with Jesus, ask questions, and take what he offers. The woman leaned into Jesus. She began to have conversations with Jesus, even if it was arguing or questions or asking him, are you greater than Jacob, our father? Like, she was leaning in at least. And then she did ask the questions. Now, here's the thing. Are you willing at that point, once you've got answers to your questions, to take what he's offering you? This will separate those who will continue to struggle in life, feeling insufficient, disconnected from God, versus those who are willing to go into those uncomfortable places where Jesus, by the way, is already standing and he's already defeated. You're not walking in to an ugly situation. You're walking in to victory through Jesus. If we're willing to engage to discover what he has to offer us. And this verse stands out to me, John 4:10, more than any other in this passage. Jesus answered her, if you knew the gift of God, every single one of us in this room has a gift of God waiting. If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. Worship team, can you come up? Jesus stands at the door, he knocks. Are you willing to open the door and to let him in? Because he has some miraculous and powerful things that he wants to do in your life. Are you willing to shut the doors to the things that you've gone after and you've tried on your own to repair and fix on your own? And are you willing to open the door to Jesus to allow him to come in to restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you? He so desires that right now. He so desires that right now.